Hi, I'm Linz. Welcome to Becoming Everwell, a channel where we talk about the ongoing journey of becoming. In today's life learning episode for Midlife You, we are talking about when you learn how to pray.
I make sense of life by writing about real everyday stuff that makes us who we are. Some of these snapshots are fun, some are more serious. Maybe they'll open up something in you too. Let's grow.
A few years into parenthood, my husband asked me how often I pray. He was totally floored when I told him that I probably pray more than 20 times a day. I'm not sure he even believed me. There had been no physical evidence of my active prayer life, but it's true. I pray a lot. A friend once advised me to keep religion out of public conversations. Religion is like sex, she said, having cited her mom as the conveyor of that advice. It's private. You're entitled to your preferences, but no one needs to know the specifics. And I get it, having just handled the dreaded parental sex talk with my sons recently. More on that another time. We stressed the word private in our conversation that also highlighted the normal and healthy existence of sexuality. I think the needed distinction is that there's sexuality and sexual practices, just like there's religion and religious practices. And separate from that, there's spirituality and spiritual practices. And spirituality, like sexuality, is part of everyone's biology. They're ingrained components of our identities. And in my opinion, they're two of the best parts of the human configuration, adding much flavor, color, and meaning. How we go about exercising these aspects of our identities is totally personal, sometimes divisive, possibly alienating, and perhaps most appropriately experienced in private spaces for the security and comfort of those engaged. People act, practice, engage according to their desires, and as long as no one is harmed, as I see it, fine. But because both sexuality and spirituality are aspects of who we are, I believe that ongoing open conversation of both are necessary in our individual journeys of becoming. So much of what I write about revolves around spirituality, but I rarely name it as such, because the box of spirituality is often perceived as taboo or woo-woo. But I'm on the train of Dr. Lisa Miller's research in The Spiritual Child, in which spirituality has been scientifically proven to be part of the human biological makeup, whether or not one has religion. Dr. Miller defines spirituality as, quote, an inner sense of living relationship to a higher power, God, nature, spirit, universe, the creator, or whatever your word is for the ultimate loving, guiding life force, end quote. And the health and mental health benefits of actively exercising one's spirituality are undisputed. This is all to say, I want to open up to you about my prayer practice without making this about religion, which felt like a lot of disclaiming and justifying to get to this sentence. I pray in color, and it's changed my spiritual life. And I use the word pray because it fits for me, and I pray to God because it fits for me. But pray could easily be replaced with love, meditate, reflect, wish, hope, imagine, or more. And God could easily be swapped out with universe, spirit, nature, creator, life force, divine, or anything that suits you. For me, to pray means to channel love. Super simple and also super powerful. I've got loved ones who are agnostic, atheist, and of various religious affiliations who have benefited from praying in color. So I want to share the concept with you if you're looking for a new way to put your love out into the world and to receive love back. In my 20s, I watched a movie called The Safety of Objects. It came out in 2001. My memory of the film is hazy, but one of the film's plot lines is of a mother, played by Glenn Close, and her teenage son, played by Joshua Jackson, and their relationship after he's in a tragic car wreck that leaves him alive but brain dead. In one profound scene, Glenn Close's character laments that she got exactly what she prayed for, that he would live, but she had failed to be specific about what she wanted from his aliveness. The breathing body of her son, with no personality, no abilities, no spirit, existed under her devoted care. But her son's new, lifeless normal was not her intended prayer for him or for her. A skeptic could argue that her prayers had no role in his medical outcome. One with faith could argue that prayer saved him. Regardless, prayer changed for me because of that scene. Where I'd previously used words to pray, like a spoken letter to God with hopes for my loved ones and myself, I now felt burdened by the need to phrase my loving thoughts with such specificity to ensure my intentions for a positive outcome. I'm a lover of words, but truth is, words became a barrier in how I wanted to channel loving energy. I started shifting my loving feelings into imagery, specifically color, specifically blue. Like if aqua and sapphire had a baby, that's the blue, close to cobalt. If I had a detailed wish for my grandmother, for instance, I'd allow Baba's shape to show up in my mind, and then I'd imagine my perfect blue cascading downward over every bit of her, enveloping her fully. My blue began to take the place of my words entirely. Blue became like a protective shield of light and pure goodness to secure my people with my love and my wish for them to be kept in divine care and grace. This made praying more efficient, for sure, and that efficiency opened me up to the notion that prayer could become part of my moment-to-moment living. When I released having to craft explicit thoughts with words, but instead simply needed a presence of mind, prayer became a part of my regular thought process. I've affectionately named this practice sheathing in blue. I found this picture by Max Kleinen on Unsplash, and although sheathing in blue is more energetic and light-infused than melty and drippy in my mind's eye, I felt like this visual is close to what I imagined, so I wanted to share it with you here. When I have an aching feeling about someone, I briefly close my eyes, and in my mind's eye, I sheathe them in blue. When I know a loved one is facing a challenge, I sheathe them in blue. When I know of a hurt someone is experiencing, I sheathe them in blue. When I'm feeling lost, I sheathe myself in blue. When my child gets picked up for a carpool, I sheathe the whole car in blue and the roads they will travel. When a health issue overcomes a loved one, I sheathe their specific body parts in blue, imagining the outline of the affected brain, spine, lung. I sheathe strangers, communities, nations in blue. The blue sheath is love. It's energetic connection. It's how I feel the power of our greater universe in my relationships and within myself. I simply call it prayer. And I do this many times every day in all kinds of circumstances because sheathing others in blue helps me give over my deepest worries and fears and acknowledge my deepest gratitudes and affections. So I invite you to channel your love in color too. It's free and freeing and available to you always. So what color is the perfect hue for your love? And I'll cut to my response to the critic's question. I don't know if my prayers actually help anyone else. Maybe they don't. Who am I? Just another person in the sea of this species. But I can tell you for certain that prayer helps me navigate complex, heavy emotions. But I suppose I also wonder, if I'm praying for you, perhaps you're praying for me. And why not walk through this life with the lift of some additional comfort, support, and love? Why not? Why not imagine that meaningful connection has that kind of power? Right now, I'm sheathing you, my viewer, on YouTube in blue, as I often do. Let's keep growing. Thanks for being here today. I'm Lindsay Hurdy. You can find out all about me and my work on my Substack, lindsayhurdy.substack.com. I also have a website, lindsayhurdy.com, where you can learn more about my offerings. And I'm just grateful that you're here today, being part of this life learning journey. Until next time.
Be sure to like and subscribe and click that bell to get alerts for new posts. I'd be ever grateful.